Kathy is here from the Waimakariri District Council. She is the Road Safety Coordinator for Waimakariri District. Hi Kathy, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good.
I'm so happy I've got your microphone working. The first time I was a little bit concerned about that. Now, it's National Road Safety Week, and the theme throughout the country this year is speed. So we're going to have a bit of a chat about that. We know that people drive too fast and they often cause a lot of crashes, but speed can impact other things on the road as well. So can you tell us about a bit of the feedback maybe that you get from people in our community about their experience on our roads?
Sure, and I guess you sort of made a good point there about often when we talk about speed, it's about people going too fast. But what I wanted to talk about today, and a lot of the feedback we get from people in our community, is just around inappropriate speed. So, just think about when you're walking along the side of the road and people are going past. Sometimes it's quite frightening, particularly for elderly and children. And so it's really just about making people aware of how they're driving and how that might impact on other people who are using the road.
Yeah, is it because, so it's not because they're driving faster. Well, it is that they're driving faster than the speed limit sometimes, but you're just saying for people to be aware anyway.
Yeah, and it's about appropriate speed. So obviously some schools we have, at school time we have reduced speeds, and that's really about just making sure that the vulnerable road users that are out there are as safe as they can be. But people have that choice to drive a little bit slower all the time in some areas where, particularly around the shops, and I know we've had some feedback from people who crossing the road trying to get to count down some older people. It's really scary for them, and people might be going 50, but maybe 50 is not appropriate when you're approaching someone trying to cross the road who's elderly and frail.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is just because it is 50, it doesn't mean that's what you should be driving?
No, appropriate for the conditions, and I think it's really about having a little bit of empathy for people and thinking, actually, if that was my mum or my child crossing the road, would I slow down a little bit just to give them a little bit more time, or would I just keep my foot down at 50 because that's my right? It's just showing a little bit of empathy for people.
What can we do to lessen the risk of a crash with a pedestrian or a cyclist, do you think?
So, look, driving requires 100% attention. We can't be looking at our phones. We can't be, talking to people in the backs, looking around at things. We need to really pay attention to what we're doing and the task at hand. And that comes back again to looking to see who's around you and is there elderly in the neighbourhood. We do have a lot of areas here where we've got older people, so just taking care and not being distracted by things that you shouldn't be, like your phone.
I'm not going to go on a tangent. I promised myself I wouldn't. I'm very passionate about it. Yeah, that is probably the biggest distraction I guess you'd see nowadays, people using their phones while they're driving. What are some things that people need to be aware of when they're driving in these areas that you're talking about?
So, look, it's not a nice thought to have, but the studies have shown that pedestrians have a 90% chance of surviving a car crash if the car is travelling at 30k or lower. Okay. So that gives people a chance at survival. But once the speed goes above 30 and say it's 45k, you've got less than 50% chance of survival.
Sheesh, so only 15k, so 30 to 45k, you've got from 90% down to 50, did you say?
Yes.
Of survival.
Yeah. And it's worse if it's an elderly person or a child who are quite frail.
What are some of the things, I know we're talking about speed, but what are some of the other things that we should be aware of at the moment?
Sure. So obviously winter is coming up.
Yeah.
We know the days are getting shorter. Sunstrike is a big one, especially travelling east to west, morning and night. We're getting frosty mornings, so you might get a bit of ice on the road. So again, it's just making sure your vehicle is weather ready, that everything's up to date, that your tyres have got good tread. Reducing your speed, again, just your speed might not have a factor in causing a crash, but it's going to have a factor in the outcome, and that's the biggest biggest message, I suppose, is that, obviously the old mantra of the faster you go, the bigger the mess. That's a fact. It's science. It's kinetic forces.
Yeah.
So again, I just encourage people to think about what they're doing when they're driving, how that impacts on not only themselves but others. And we all have a part to play in that. We're all responsible for keeping ourselves and others safe.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to go on a rant, but I would also like to say I've just been doing the traffic report that we do every half hour from 4 o'clock, and there is a lot of roadworks around the Waimakiriri district at the moment. You've got them on Lineside Road, over the Ashley Bridge. There's quite a lot in Kaiapoi at the moment, and I guess it doesn't matter what time of the day you go through there, even if it's at midnight. If it says 30k, that's what you do. Don't ask questions, just it's there for a reason, just do it.
Exactly, it is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's usually to protect the driver as well as the road workers, but often if it's a speed reduction at night, there'll be some reason that you want to slow down. Might be loose chip, might be a hazard, and we know people have come off second best if they're travelling too fast through roadworks at night. So
absolutely. So look after yourself, look after everybody else on the road, and thank you for coming in, Kathy, Road Safety Coordinator at the Waimakiriri District Council, here for National Road Safety Week.
Compass FM.